Most people quit when they've only used 40% of their actual capacity. That means you're leaving 60% of your potential on the table every single day. What if you could access even half of that untapped reserve? Can't Hurt Me tells the story of a man who transformed from an overweight pest control worker into a Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, and one of the world's top endurance athletes. But this isn't just an inspiring biography. It's a manual for mental toughness that challenges the comfortable narratives we tell ourselves about our limitations. In a world where we're constantly seeking comfort and optimization, this book asks a different question. What becomes possible when you deliberately choose the harder path? When your mind is screaming at you to stop, you're not actually at your limit. You're at roughly 40% of what you're truly capable of. This isn't motivational exaggeration. It's about understanding how the brain protects you. Your mind is designed for survival, not achievement. When you start feeling uncomfortable during a workout, a difficult conversation, or a demanding project, your brain sends distress signals. It tells you you're tired, that you've done enough, that it's time to stop. This is the governor system, and it exists to conserve energy and keep you safe. But here's what matters. These signals appear long before you reach actual physical or mental failure. The discomfort you feel at the gym when you're thinking about stopping, that's not your body giving out. That's your mind trying to protect you from discomfort you can absolutely handle. This gap between perceived limits and actual limits is where growth lives. Every person who's achieved something difficult has learned to recognize these false stopping points and push past them. The moment you feel like quitting is precisely the moment you need to keep going. Not recklessly, not ignoring genuine injury or burnout, but with the understanding that discomfort is not the same as damage. Most of us lie to ourselves constantly. We say we want to get in shape, but we skip workouts. We say we want a promotion, but we avoid difficult conversations. We say we want to change, but we repeat the same patterns. The accountability mirror is a tool for cutting through self-deception. It's simple. You stand in front of a mirror and confront the truth about who you are versus who you claim to want to be. Not in a self-help, affirmation chanting way, in a brutally honest way. You look at yourself and ask, what did I say I would do today? Did I do it? If not, why not? What story am I telling myself to justify falling short? This practice removes the buffer between intention and action. Most people can lie to themselves throughout the day because they never stop to actually measure the gap. The mirror forces confrontation with reality. For example, if you tell yourself you don't have time to exercise, the accountability mirror asks, did you watch television yesterday? Did you scroll social media? Did you say yes to things that don't actually matter? Be specific, be honest. The power isn't in positive thinking, it's in radical honesty. Because once you clearly see the gap between who you are and who you want to be, you can no longer hide from it, and that discomfort becomes the fuel for change. This isn't about shame, it's about clarity. You can't solve a problem you won't acknowledge. When you're in the middle of something difficult, your mind will tell you you're not capable. It will flood you with doubt. This is when most people quit. The cookie jar is a mental tool for those moments. It's a collection of your past wins that you can draw from when you're struggling. Here's how it works. You deliberately remember times you've overcome difficulty before. Not vague memories. Specific moments when you thought you couldn't do something and you did it anyway. Maybe you gave a presentation that terrified you. Maybe you finished a project everyone said was impossible. Maybe you had a difficult conversation you'd been avoiding for months. Maybe you ran further than you thought you could. These don't need to be extraordinary achievements. They just need to be real moments when you exceeded your own expectations. When you're in the new difficult situation, your brain defaults to fear and doubt because it doesn't have reference points. The cookie jar gives it evidence. It reminds your mind, you've been here before in different forms and you survived, you succeeded. This isn't fake motivation. It's using your own history as proof of capability. It shifts the internal narrative from, I can't do this, to, I've done hard things before, and I can do this one too. Start building your cookie jar now. Write down your past wins. Small ones count. When the next difficult moment comes, and it will, you'll have ammunition against your own doubt. Physical calluses form when skin is repeatedly exposed to friction. The body adapts. It gets tougher in the exact places where it experiences stress. The mind works the same way. Most people avoid discomfort. They optimize for ease. They choose the comfortable job, the comfortable conversation, the comfortable workout. And their minds stay soft. When you deliberately expose yourself to difficulty, your mind adapts. It builds tolerance. Things that would have broken you before become manageable. This explains why the same situation that overwhelms one person barely affects another. It's not genetics, it's not luck, it's conditioning. Someone who regularly does difficult things has a calloused mind. Discomfort doesn't shock their system because their system has adapted to discomfort. The practical application is simple. Seek out friction. Not randomly, strategically. If public speaking terrifies you, speak publicly in small doses until it doesn't. If cold showers feel unbearable, start with 10 seconds and build. If running feels impossible, run short distances until your mind stops catastrophizing about it. The specific challenge doesn't matter as much as the pattern. Deliberately choosing discomfort in one area creates mental toughness that transfers to other areas. You're not just getting better at that one thing. You're training your mind to stop treating discomfort as an emergency. This is how you build resilience, not by avoiding stress, but by systematically increasing your capacity to handle it. There's a reason most people never access their full potential. It's not lack of talent or opportunity. It's the internal governor that limits how much effort they're willing to expend. This governor shows up as excuses, reasonable-sounding explanations for why you can't do the thing you know you should do. I'm too busy. I'm not a morning person. I don't have the right background. I'm too old. I'm too tired. Some of these might contain fragments of truth, but they're mostly protective mechanisms, stories your mind tells to keep you comfortable. Removing the governor means recognizing these stories for what they are, negotiation tactics your brain uses to avoid discomfort. When you hear yourself saying, "I can't," ask, is this actually true, or is this just my mind trying to stay comfortable? Most limitations are self-imposed, not all of them, but most. The person who wakes up at 5 a.m. to train isn't genetically different from you. They've just stopped negotiating with themselves. The person who changed careers at 40 isn't lucky. They stopped believing the story that it was too late. Your governor is the voice that says, "This is just who I am." But who you are is not fixed. It's the result of choices you make repeatedly. Removing the governor doesn't mean ignoring real constraints. It means stopping the habit of turning preferences into impossibilities. Think about your last difficult project at work. The moment it got hard, what did your mind tell you? Probably something like, "This is too much. I don't have the skills, I should ask for help or push the deadline." That's the 40% rule in action. Your mind wanted you to stop long before you actually needed to, or consider the last time you planned to exercise but didn't. What story did you tell yourself? "I'm too tired from work." But were you too tired to watch a show afterward? That's the governor. That's self-deception. What about the conversation you've been avoiding with a colleague or family member? Why haven't you had it? It's not the right time. They won't understand. It'll make things worse. Maybe, but probably you're just afraid of the discomfort. The accountability mirror would reveal that. These aren't personal failures. They're universal human patterns. The difference between people who achieve difficult things and people who don't isn't talent. It's the willingness to see these patterns and push through them anyway. Here's what you can do starting today. First, create your accountability mirror practice. Tonight, before bed, look at yourself and ask 3 questions. 1. What did I commit to doing today? 2. Did I do it? 3. If not, what story am I telling myself about why? Write down your answers. Don't judge them. Just observe the gap between intention and action. Second, start building your cookie jar. Right now, write down 3 difficult things you've accomplished in your life. They don't need to be impressive to anyone else. They just need to be moments when you exceeded your own expectations. Keep this list accessible. Add to it when you do hard things. Reference it when you're struggling. Third, identify one area where you can callous your mind this week. Pick something that makes you uncomfortable but won't harm you. Cold showers, an earlier wake-up time, a difficult conversation, a challenging workout. Not to punish yourself, to build tolerance for discomfort. Fourth, notice when you hit your perceived 40%. This happens multiple times a day. When you want to stop working on a task, when you're tired during a workout, when you want to end a difficult conversation. Just notice it. Recognize that the urge to quit isn't the same as actually needing to quit. Then push just a little further. Finally, write down your most common excuse, the story you tell yourself about what you can't do or why you're not making progress. Look at it clearly. Is it actually true? Or is it your governor protecting you from discomfort? The message of "can't hurt me" isn't that you should make yourself miserable or chase suffering for its own sake. It's that most of us are living far below our actual capacity, and we don't even realize it because we've never tested our real limits. You have more in you than you think, not in a vague, inspirational sense, in a literal, measurable way. The gap between where you are and where you could be isn't talent, resources, or opportunity. It's mostly just your willingness to be uncomfortable. Every person who's achieved something difficult has simply learned to keep going when their mind says stop. That ability isn't rare. It's just uncommon because most people never practice it. Start practicing it. If you found this valuable, consider subscribing. This channel breaks down the most useful ideas from books like this without the hype, for people who want practical ways to improve. More summaries coming soon.